Hey friends! Let's play a game. I'll ask 3 questions from you, and if you give the correct answers then you will win that game. In fact, you tell through comments and everyone would have to accept that you are in 0.1% people who is using his brain in the best possible way and is smart. Okay? But if you aren't able to give answer, then it's okay. I have an interesting news for you, but first let's come to the question. First question is very simple. You must know Albert Einstein. So the first question is, do you think that Albert Einstein was very smart since childhood? Used to get good marks in school or college? Second question is a bit tough. What were you doing 2 years ago on April 30th, 2021? To make it more simple, what were you doing on April 30th last year? And third, most difficult question, and you have to give the answer in 5 seconds. What is the result of 5, 68, 94396? Your time starts now. Stop! Did you give answer? Let's understand these questions one by one. You know Albert Einstein was not great in his school. He quit his education at the age of 15. Then he gave entrance exam of Swiss Federal Institution of Technology, but he failed in that also. So, if your first answer was no, then congratulations, you are right. I think maximum people won't be able to give the answer of second one. If there was a special occasion or birthday, then you may remember. But let me tell you an interesting thing about it. There is a British student, Aurelian, who is 20 years old, and when he was asked this question, in fact not 2 years old, when he was asked an incident of 2009 what had happened on April 30th, 2009, he specifically remembered that what happened that day. You comment and tell whether it is a blessing or a curse. But now let's come to the third question. Answering the third question is very tough. But you know there is an Indian named Neelkantha Bhanu Prakash, and there are many such mathematicians which are called as human calculator. They give the answer within seconds. So if you have given the answer of all these 3 questions then comment down, I'll try to pin the comment. But if you are not able to give the answer of these 3 questions then there is a bad thing that we are not smart. But the good thing is whatever the level we are at we can learn how to use the brain better, and I am not saying it, Dr. John Medina is saying this, who has written a book named Brain Rules. I am going to tell 9 rules from that book. If we follow these rules we can use the brain power very much, to remember things well, to solve complex problems, or in general, to move ahead in life. By using the most important asset, that is our brain. Let's start with the first rule, human brain evolution. You know, 1,000 years ago when we were evolving from Stone Age, in that stage, we had 3 different brains. What? Anything! You heard it right. Scientists tell that our brain has layers. First layer is lizard brain, which was our foremost brain, with the help of which we were able to do the activities essential for our survival. Then the second brain came, that is cat brain. Amygdala was developed in this brain. You must have seen many of my videos in which I told the function of amygdala, that is of fighter, fly or freeze. Like for example, if someone put gun on your head you will do one of the 3 things. Either you will fight with him, or you will run away from there, or you will freeze. How are we able to do it? Because of amygdala. And many animals are able to do it. But the most interesting thing happened when the third layer of our brain got developed, which includes our cortex. This part helps in communication, ability to talk and processing thoughts. Amygdala is responsible for our emotions and all such things. Cortex helps in a lot of things like memory, thinking, learning, reasoning, problem solving, emotions, consciousness. It helps in such a lot of things. On the basis of which we are able to do a very interesting thing which other animals can't do. And that is, to able to communicate with each other, sharing feelings and do bigger things. Like for example, if you keep 100 dogs at one place then there are very high chances that they will fight with each other, and they won't be able to come out. But if you keep 100 human beings and if the one person is able to use his brain power, is able to work smartly, then he can create such things with 99 other people which other people can't dream about. That's why the first rule is that using the ability to working together with people is a wise thing. Second rule, we are powerful and natural explorers. In 1979, Andrew Meltzoff rocked the whole world of psychology by taking her tongue out in front of an infant. Andrew had a son who took birth just 32 minutes ago. He was very happy for it that he had a child. But when he went to meet him, don't know why he took his tongue out and started teasing him, and then his son, Nova, started doing the same thing again, that is, taking his tongue out. If you stop and think about it, it's very crazy. That a kid who is just born, how can he learn things by seeing things nearby? And after that, whenever he used to take his tongue out, then his kid also used to play with his dad. Why did it happen? Because we humans learn from our surroundings very fast. And adapt accordingly. That's why you see people adopt in coldest place, and some people adapt in hottest place. Some people adopt in water places, and some people adopt in forest areas. So the next rule is, when you have to use brain in full potential, become explorers. Learn from different places. It will help you in developing brain and working in its full potential. Third one is repeat to remember. Kim Peek was born with a rare disease on December 11, 1951. He was not able to walk till the age of 4. He used to have problem in tying shoelaces. Basically, he used to have problem in major skills like running, cycling. Doctors had considered him abnormal. But his dad noticed his positive skill by apart from his negative things. The skill was that he never forgot the book he read. And his dad started marketing his such a unique thing. Due to which a screenwriter started testing his ability to remember. He asked that kid home and book-related questions, and he gave all the precise answers, due to which that screenwriter got impressed. And guess what? That screenwriter decided to make a movie on him. The name of the movie is Rain Man, which also got Oscar award. And when he was asked that how are you able to remember so many things? So he said one thing which you can do to remember anything well, that is repetitions at frequent intervals. Try to remember the thing you want to remember in some intervals. Due to which your brain would understand that this is not useless information, this is special information, which I have to store in long-term memory. Fourth rule, exercise to boost the brain power. Jim and Frank, both were old people, both were in their 80s, but both of them were living different lives. Jim used to stare at walls by sitting on wheelchair, used to forget things, and sometimes he used to be so sad that he used to weep alone. In short, he was waiting to die. Whereas the other person named Frank was also in his 80s. But he was living a happy life. In fact, he had a lot of energy. Why was that? Because Frank used to do a simple thing, which many people nowadays. That is doing workout. Does workout has any impact? If we see from evolutionary perspective, we humans used to walk a lot. We've evolved to walk. People from old era used to walk a lot, like 19 kilometers, but yes, this is about old era, but nowadays, if you walk for just 30 minutes or do any aerobic activity like running, cycling, swimming, all these activities train your heart, and it boosts your memory power and creativity in long run. Because see, whenever your heart rate fastens, blood reaches your brain due to which it get glucose, and the toxic cells of brain go out. That's why do exercise also. Next tool is stressed brain doesn't learn the same way. Imagine you got a deadline in the office. And you have to complete the presentation in 3 days. Now you know, this is very hard thing. Your first response would be, SHT man, how would such a hard thing be done? And it will cause you a little stress. But sometimes, this short-term stress is psychological motivator, with the help of which you will finish the presentation in 3 days. Which is a good thing. But if the same thing starts happening in long term, like for example, you are stressed because of something and you have been taking that stress for 6 months, that stress keeps your pinching constantly, then that is not good for you. USA scientists researched on actors of 2 groups. Group 1 was asked to recall the sad and horrific memories of life, have to think about them, and then remember the things you were given. Whereas Group 2 was asked to recall the good and happy memories of life and then learn the acting lines you were given. Researchers monitored the blood group of both groups, checked their immune system and competency, which showed that the Group 2 who was recalling the good memories and was trying to remember the lines, their immunity was very healthy. There were happy cells in their body. Whereas the Group 1 which was recalling the sad memories, their immunity was weak and body cells were also weakening. That's why remember that don't take stress in long term. Short-term stress is okay, but avoid taking long-term stress. Now, how to do it. If you are having problem in it, then go to I button or description and watch that video. In fact, that is one of the best videos of all time. How to stop worrying and start living, must watch that video. Now let's come to the next tool, which is stimulate more of the senses. If I make you smell popcorn, which place would come in your mind? There are higher chances that movie theater would come in your mind. Because maybe you ate popcorn there. Where if I talk about the smell of animals farming, then which place would come in your mind? You would recall your village, right? But have you ever thought, why? Because the fragrances stimulate our senses, so the pro tip is whenever you have to remember anything, then trigger your senses. The more your senses would trigger, the higher the chances that you would be able to recall them. Like for example, if you are learning a concept or trying to read about a chemical, then try to see how it looks, instead of reading it, how it smells, and if that is safe, try to feel it. Try to touch it. Trigger your senses. In fact, I have read it somewhere, when people remember something and eat chewing gum, and when they write their exam while eating that chewing gum, then it helps them in remembering the same things. Because the taste, smell, emotions helps them in remembering. So try to stimulate your sense as much as possible. Then the next tool is vision trumps all other senses. See, although all the senses are powerful, but the most powerful is vision. Like for example, you have a friend and he tells you that I saw an accident. He tells by describing that how the accident happened. And he will tell you how the accident happened. Now you would forget it in 6 to 7 months. But imagine, after walking for a while outside your home, you see a terrible accident, then what would happen? Well, there are higher chances that the thing you have seen you would remember that lifetime. And it has happened with me. I had seen a dead body of a kid near my home, which comes in front of my eyes. Because visuals are very powerful senses. So whenever you are trying to remember something, or if you want to remember something permanently, then see its visual representation. Watch the videos around the topic instead of just reading. The more visual inputs are there, the higher the chances that you would remember it. Next rule is brain is never built for multitasking. Recently, I watched a video in which there was a person named Lydian Nadhaswaram and A.R. Rahman was taking his interview. If you don't know about Lydian, let me tell you, Lydian is such a child who had started playing musical instruments since the age of 2 years. He had learnt piano at the age of 8. In fact, there was a talent show named World's Best. Many talented people came from all over the world. Lydian went there and won the first prize, where he got $1 million. That was a big thing. He made our country proud. And Lydian has done many such interesting things. Now let's come to the A.R. Rahman. When A.R. Rahman asked Lydian that if he plays PlayStation, then he said, "What is PlayStation?" He didn't know about PlayStation. And then A.R. Rahman told an interesting thing. He said, "This is the reason you have become so successful at such a young age, because you don't have distraction." Nowadays, maximum people are distracted. They try to do 10 things, whereas the successful person is one who gives undivided attention to one thing, and this is very true. You notice, if you want to use the brain at best level, then instead of doing 100 things, try to do 1, 2, or maximum 3 things. And the more you focus on only one thing, the better you create results, by using your brain. Last point is, sleep well, think well. According to the study of NASA, if pilots take the nap of 26 minutes, their alertness improves by 54%. Whereas their job performance improves by 34%. Why does it happen? We should take naps in afternoon. In afternoon, a fight is going on among biochemicals and the brain information processing is going on, so when we take naps, it gives our brain time to process information. So if you want to boost your productivity, then wake up early in the morning and take some naps in the morning. After the no naps. This thing will trigger your brain to be powerful. As I had told you in second last point that focusing is very important, but today we are living in such a distracting world, so how can you work with such focus in this distracted world? I've made a playlist on it, the link is in I button and description, watch those videos from there, so that you can learn how to work with full focus and achieve great things in your life. See you in those videos.